Hello, everyone. It's me again. I am obviously just a guy, as you probably already know, but I am actually here to give the fourth part of this story on Silver Scarlet. And this time it's going to be a little bit more of a romance on both Pietro and Linda's part. Well, Linda Park from Earth 2 mainly, although Linda Park from Earth 1 will be involved in this story. She's not going to be the main love interest. And plus, I'm going to dig a little bit more deeper into, well, not very much, but a little bit more deeper into Pietro's new speed, now mixed in with the Speed Force. And also, I am going to go ahead and into something right now and say that next chapter is going to take a little bit longer considering I still haven't put it down yet, but I'm pretty sure you all would rather me just cut to the chase. So, by all means, let's go ahead and get this entire story started.
Chapter 4. Sneaking Visits. Pietro was running around the silver dummy that he's been practicing nonstop on. Then when he tried to throw the white lightning at it, he missed again, to his frustration. I still can't get it right. Pietro said in exhausted annoyance. That's because you keep trying to force it. Jay said loudly to Pietro. I know. You've been telling me that for hours, but I still don't know what you mean by that. Pietro said in a frustrated manner while panting. Just let the energy pass over you, and then direct it to where you want it to go. Jay said. Ha ha ha, that's exactly what you told me when you were trying to teach me how to throw lightning, Barry laughed. Okay, maybe this might help, cause I didn't get it right away either. I think what Jay's trying to say is, just slow down, relax, and let it flow through you. Barry said. Pietro raised a thoughtful eyebrow then looked at Barry and nodded. Okay, I think I've got it. Let me try again. Pietro said as he put on his cowl and ran around the dummy again. And this time, he was close, but still didn't quite get it. You need to slow down. You're not slowing down. This is the one time you need to. Barry groaned wearily. Oh come on Barry, you of all people should understand that I don't slow down. And besides, I'm starting to get a little better at this, all I need is a little more practice. He said while panting. Hey, come on man, everybody has to take a break every once in a while. Barry said. After all, too much training can be hard on the body, you don't want to face Zoom and you're so exhausted, you can barely stand. Jay said. Yeah, when we face Zoom we're going to need you at your best, Pietro. Barry said. I know, that's why I have to get this right. I want to help you stop this guy. Pietro said eagerly. You will in time. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Barry said. Later in Cisco's lab. Caitlin walked into Cisco's lab to find him working on something. Hey, what are you working on over there? She asked with a raised eyebrow. Just another Tachyon prototype. Cisco said with enthusiasm. But Caitlin rolled her eyes. Look, I know you're excited that another speedster is on the team now, but do you remember what I said about his test results? He didn't get his powers from the particle accelerator. He said that both he and his sister got their powers by being experimented on with something called an infinity stone back on his Earth, so a Tachyon prototype might not work on him. Caitlin explains to Cisco. Yeah, you might be right about that, but he did say that the speed force is what brought him here, so if he's partly fueled by the speed force, then there's still a possibility of it working. And besides, I've already made some minor adjustments to this so that even if a speedster is not using the speed force, it can still supercharge a speedster's cells to make them go faster, regardless of the source of speed. Cisco said with the same level of enthusiasm. Caitlin raised both of her eyebrows, grinned, and chuckled a bit. You're really excited about this, aren't you? She asked, chuckling at his enthusiasm. Yeah, not only do we have a new speedster, but he's also kind of different from Barry. This means there could be so much more we can learn from this guy. I've already gone through your results of him, and he might have more potential than even Barry. Cisco said excitedly. Yeah, but he still has a lot to learn for all we know, probably more than Barry. And the thing that annoys me the most about this guy, is that he's even cockier than Barry was when Barry first started. Caitlin said in a slightly annoyed manner. Cisco rolled his eyes and made a small chuckle. Look, it's nice to see that you care and all, but you're acting just as overprotective with Pietro as you used to be with Barry. No offense, but it's kind of annoying that you always act like everyone's mom, when we're strong enough to take care of ourselves. Cisco pointed out in an annoyed tone. Caitlin looked offended. I don't act that way, she said indignantly. Oh please, Cisco mumbled. You remember the first time you found out about Barry fighting crime? You went full mom mode on both me and Barry. Cisco said slightly amused. Hey. Barry was an amateur back then, he didn't know all the things he knows now, and somebody had to worry about him if his dad wasn't there to be. Caitlin said. Cisco hid a scoff under his breath. What's that supposed to be? Some sort of an excuse. He thought to himself. Look, I know you mean well, but we all have powers of our own. I'm not asking you not to worry, but just have faith that we can take care of ourselves. Cisco said reassuringly. Oh please, if I didn't care, I wouldn't still be here right now. And I'm pretty sure if I don't worry about you guys as much as I do, you all would be questioning if I do care. Caitlin said. And don't think that just because you have powers now, that you'll be in the field with Barry. For one thing, you don't understand it any more than any of us, and whatever it is, I doubt it's connected with the Speed Force. So, with that fact pointed out, looks like you're still stuck here with me in this lab just being nosy people in Barry's ear. Caitlin pointed out almost smugly. Cisco frowned and didn't say another word, looking back down and continuing working on the Tachyon prototype for Pietro. With Pietro. As Pietro got a towel and wiped the sweat off of him, he went to the kitchen and immediately started cooking something. Though he was done, it still smelled so good, and the smell flowed throughout the lab. Then to his surprise, Linda walked in and saw Pietro cooking something on a skillet. Oh hey, I actually came here looking for Barry, but whatever it is you're making smelled so good I just had to know what it was. Linda said, explaining herself. Oh, thank you. Pietro said with a wide and flustered grin. So what are you making? Linda asked with a pleasant but curious grin. It's chicken paprikash, my sister taught me how to make it. Apparently, I can't make it as good as my sister can, cause she knows how to make it the same way our mother used to make it. Pietro said in reminiscent thought. Linda noticed a sad and distant look on Pietro's face. Hey are you okay? Linda asked in concern. Pietro's head snaps back up and answers quickly. Yes, I'm fine. I was just thinking about when I was 10. I was young, loud, immature. Well, I guess I still kind of am, but those were happier times. For both me and my sister. Pietro said with a thoughtful grin. Then he frowned at the thought of his sister and everyone else on his earth. Linda scoffs a bit. He has that look on his face so much, I'm starting to wonder if that's just the way he looks all the time. Linda thought to herself. Where is she now? Linda asked. Is she? Linda was about to finish, but Pietro quickly said. No. It's just. We are separated right now. I got hurt so I was moved, and now, I'm just wondering what's become of her. Pietro said in sad thought. Linda made a sad yet reassuring grin when she walked over to him and touched his shoulder. Hey, I'm sorry for what happened, she said. Pietro gave a reassuring grin and thanked her as they both continued making the chicken paprikash. Later when they finished, they served it to the rest of the team, Iris and Joe West included. Everyone was laughing and smiling from ear to ear, and as Pietro was looking around, he felt that for the first time in a long time, he thought that he found a family beyond his sister, as well as a place that he thinks that he belongs. Oh yeah, Pietro. I made something for you. Cisco said with enthusiasm. Then Cisco pulled something out of his pocket and tossed it to Pietro. What is this? Pietro asked. It's a tachyon generator. Yeah, it'll supercharge your cells to make you run faster. Cisco explained enthusiastically. Thanks. I'll give this a try when I get better at the lightning throwing thing. Pietro said, looking at it with a pleased grin. Yeah, you should take good care of that. When you go up against Zoom, we're all going to need you at your fastest, so make sure nothing happens to that. 'Cause it took a considerable amount of time to make that one, especially for you. Like Caitlin said, you're different from Barry cause you are not just drawing on the speed force, which makes you a different speedster from Barry. Cisco explained. Thank you, I will take good care of it. Pietro said to Cisco. They both exchanged thankful and reassuring grins and Pietro went back into the kitchen. But Pietro made a second plate and went to the pipeline without anyone knowing. With Pietro in the pipeline. As he was walking through and looking at all of the people who were locked up, he wondered if those people who were locked in a space with barely anything to do was the best thing for them. What the hell are you looking at? A meta prisoner asked angrily, staring daggers at Pietro. He immediately turned his head away from the man with red eyes and kept walking. I will make you all tear each other to pieces. Do you hear me? I'll make you all kill each other when I get out of here. The man was yelling as Pietro was walking away at a faster pace. Till he found the glass prison box he was looking for. He saw Dr. Light, Linda Park, hunched in the corner of her glass cell. When she looked up to see Pietro with a cheery pleasant smile and offering her a plate of what looked like a specially made chicken smothered in sauce and melted cheese, with a side of pasta, hence the reason why a fork was with it. Pietro was a little taken aback by the sad broken look in her eyes. Then Pietro's cheery pleasant grin dropped to a concerned frown. Dr. Light shook her head no, and sadly turned away. Please, you must be hungry. Pietro said insistently. No. She snapped. And besides, for all I know, you probably poisoned it or put some sort of truth serum or something in it. She guessed. No, I promise, nobody even knows I'm down here. I would never do anything like that to you. Pietro said. While glaring at him cautiously, she asks one more question. Okay, what's the catch? Do you want to use me as bait or something? Or do you want me for something else? Dr. Light asked untrustingly. No, I just want to give you something to eat. I mean, you are hungry, right? Pietro questioned. Dr. Light rolled her eyes and just decided to eat what was on the plate. Though she didn't show it, she was surprised to find that it tasted amazingly good. Thanks, this is pretty good. She said appreciatively. Thank you, the other girl that looks like you helped me make it. Pietro said, feeling happy that she liked it, and exceptionally pleased with himself. You mean my doppelganger? She asked with a scoff. Yeah. If that's what you want to call her. Pietro said, puzzled. Though she did her best to hide it. She made a smirk at his confused and clueless expression. Considering her situation, she would never admit it, but she thought it looked cute on him. As a matter of interest, where are you from? Russia. She asked. Pietro just chuckled. I get that a lot, but no, I'm actually from a place in Europe called Sokovia. Pietro answered. She raised an eyebrow out of curiosity as she thinks out loud. I've heard of Europe, but I've never heard of a place called Sokovia. Pietro makes a small chuckle and smirks. Not very many people have, but I'm sure that there are some people like me, my sister, and the Avengers have, and can tell you. Wait. I forgot. This isn't my world, so. For all I know, you probably don't know who the Avengers are. Pietro said, realizing that since this isn't his world, there may be some things that exist here that don't on his Earth. I'm from a different Earth too, but I've never heard of a team called the Avengers. Dr. Light said, raising her eyebrows in fascination and appearing more attentive and interested in Pietro's story. Though I don't really know for sure, it sounds like you're from someplace else entirely. Dr. Light said. Pietro raised his eyebrows in interest and curiosity as well. What do you mean? Pietro asked, then he looked away in thought and remembered that Caitlin said that the Avengers don't exist on this Earth either. Maybe I need to brush up on the history of both this Earth and mine, but considering my Earth does not seem all that different from this one, you might be from someplace else entirely. Dr. Light said in partial contemplation. Then Pietro told Dr. Light about the world where he came from, and all that happened to him that led him to this Earth. Then Dr. Light told her story to Pietro and how she ended up on the Earth they were on now. Then, before either of them knew it, their conversation started to go a little more pleasantly, especially when Pietro told her about the experiments he went through on his Earth to get his powers. I was in a glass box just like this, except I had more space, and I also had a bed. Pietro said, frowning at the thought of his own glass prison back on his Earth. Lucky you, at least you had more space, and it sounds like you were more comfortable compared to being stuck here. Dr. Light said with a dull sad expression. Both Pietro and Dr. Light jumped in surprise hearing a feminine voice call out to Pietro. It was Caitlin's voice, telling him in a strict and authoritative tone to get in the main lab now. With Pietro, Cisco and Caitlin. When Pietro walked into the lab, he raised a curious eyebrow at the sight of Cisco in a chair. She was about to ask where Caitlin was, till he saw her standing near the desk with a strict and disapproving look on her face. What the hell do you think you're doing? Caitlin asked authoritatively. I was just giving one of the people downstairs something to eat. Pietro answered. Look, those people down there are prisoners, we don't talk to them, or try and be friendly with them in any way. Cisco said, explaining to Pietro. Okay. But that one girl with the leather and glowing hands seems very nice when. Then Caitlin cut him off with a strict sharpness in her voice. Doesn't matter. She's a prisoner. And you should never talk to the meta-prisoners again. Got it? Caitlin asked in a strict authoritative manner. Pietro rolled his eyes at first, but he eventually said in a grouchy brooding manner, yeah. Yeah, I got it. Then he sped off leaving a bunch of paper flying everywhere. Look, I know we were trying to tell him that going into the pipeline without our permission was wrong, but you're being a bit harsh with him, don't you think? Cisco asked with a concerned look. Maybe, but sometimes tough love is necessary to get the point across, especially with people who are as headstrong and reckless as Pietro. Caitlin said unsympathetically.
End of part 4. I would like to actually thank Audrey Victory for her or his. Okay, I don't really know gender. I'm not gender specific about this, but I would like to thank them for their very nice comments. And I would also like to give a shout out to Tessa from Mama's Geeky. I've actually saw her reaction videos when she was watching season 2 of Loki. I hope she keeps up that. And I would also like to announce that I'm still working on part 5, so that'll probably take like 3 months, maybe longer. But please know that I am working on that still and give me some time on that. I know that typing and editing this will take a long time, like I already mentioned, but please know that I'm not going to give up on this easy. It'll just take longer than you might think. But I am feeling very proud of this, and I hope I'll catch you all later.